Good morning. It's Johnny Sunshine. It's Saturday morning, guys. Johnny's taking the day off. Well, not really. I got the amigos coming, maybe. They were supposed to be here already, but it's kind of crappy out, so I'm hoping they don't show up. But I've got a lot of shit to do. Bella, stop it. I got these new guests in my Airbnb. Hang on. I got these new guests in my Airbnb, and they're gonna be a fucking... The woman's very nice, but the guy is gonna be a pain in my ass for a fucking week. I call him up this morning, to tell him, you know, where to go for restaurants and, you know, shit to do. It's kind of a crappy day. We got some beautiful... Up on University Parkway, we've got a brand new mall, and all the fucking buildings are brand new. The restaurants, it's just, you know, really the place to be. There's band, music, all kinds of stuff. But then this guy, he starts giving me this fucking honeydew list of stuff that he needs taken care of in the fucking Airbnb, and I'm like, motherfucker, how about I just give you your money back and you get the fuck out of here? I ain't working all weekend. He's like, yeah, it took me a couple hours last night to figure out all the light switches. I was like, really? Get a fucking life, pal. I'm gonna get a bad fucking review from this guy. I can tell already. That he's just he's one of them, but he's about 5 feet tall, you know, fucking Napoleon. Anyways, I'm trying to heal up, man. My ribs are really fucking sore, man, from doing those cabinets the other day. Jesus Christ, they were killing me, man. It had inside, you know, the face of the cabinet was about an inch higher than the bottom of the cabinet, and the fucking doors were only like 16 inches, 18 inches, with this big trim plate at the top. Very fucking uncomfortable, man, and it tested me, my patience, and really challenged my perseverance. I got through it, but I'm feeling it, man. And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go buy a hopefully these amigos don't show up because of the weather, and I'm gonna go buy a fucking fishing or a life jacket, one of those real nice thin with a zipper, you know. And if I'm working in a painful cabinet, I'm putting that on because it's got padding all the way around it, man. And it's just easier than working with a big ass, you know, fucking pad or something. Come here, guys. This fucking guy's probably out. I think he must be a fucking home inspector. Fucking cocksucker. Yeah, so I'm gonna go try on a couple of these vests. I looked online. They got some pretty nice ones that are pretty thin, but they come with some nice flotation, and the material is very comfortable. You know, they're designed to be out on a boat fishing all day with them on, so they're not cumbersome, and I'm looking forward to that, Jackson. Trying to take this day off this weekend, but if I can get these amigos here and just put them on, get them on some things, getting stuff done around here, that would be great. But Johnny needs to heal up, man. My arthritis in my left hand is really, my thumb, man, is killing me. And yeah. Anyways, this guy's got me a little off balance, man. He's just gonna be a little fucking pain. It is what it is. Most of them are great. All of them so far have been. This guy just sense. My intuition tells me he's gonna be a fucking problem. He's gonna be, you know, like this is my new job for the next week. Fucking being at his beck and call, you know. Hey, John, I was noticing there's, you know, the salt shaker needs to be refilled. And I'm going to be like, well, you know, too fucking bad. I got a cold, man. I got something going on in my lungs. There's all kinds of funky shit floating around down here in Florida. Just nasty. Guys, I tell you what, man, the last couple of days, I think it was that fucking mowing tool has gotten me a lot more subscribers and a lot more traffic on the channel, man. So I appreciate that. I was reading, you know, I don't think you probably never heard me to say hit the like button and subscribe and, you know, the normal rat-a-tat-tat from most YouTubers. Make sure you know, do this and that, but it really does make a difference. You know, if you just hit the like button, you know, it gets into their algorithm. And I got 100 and, you know, like on this one yesterday was 1,700 views in 17 hours, which is high. It's not a lot for most YouTubers, but it's high for me. But only 137 gave it a thumbs up. So I think, you know, if you like the video, or even if you just want to give me a sympathy thumbs up, man, I'll take it, you know. So I went to Wally World last night, Jackson, and I got set up, man. I bought some new battery chargers for my cameras. These are very nice, but I will tell you that everything is slippery as hell. You drop them, so I need to go get some of that fucking Flex Seal tape. And I'm going to use that stuff, especially on these. I'm going to put a couple wraps around it because it's just slippery, man. And it's because of the injection molding. You know, they have to do that. But you drop everything. It's very slippery for me. So these things were only $19 or $20, man. And you can run a GoPro all day on this, man. Just make sure you have a good battery in there and plug it in. I've got some 10-foot. These are really good cords that I bought from the shit you buy in a gas station is just garbage. I mean, literally one the other day, it lasted 2 hours. But this one is very, you know, I can tell it's the way they put it together is way better. And it's a 10-footer, so even if I'm using my huge tripod or selfie stick, I'll be able to use this same cord. So I bought a bunch of them. I bought some earbuds, ear spuds. Johnny spent a couple $100 on himself last night, man. I don't usually do that. You know, a couple weeks ago I bought a pack of fucking underwear and some t-shirts, man, and I just, you know, I'm good, man. I'm fucking good. So the thing I bought today on Amazon is I got to buy my buddy, the kid who used to work for me, I have to buy him one of those air-conditioned CO2 drain guns. They really work good, guys, on if you got a situation where you can't get water to stop dripping. Just make sure you got a couple valves open on the other side of the house or wherever, so there's water as you're pushing that water out with the CO2 gun. It has somewhere to go. But I was reading up on these CO2 cartridges because I was wondering how much pressure is in there, you know? And it's upwards of fucking 800 PSI, man. So I'm just going to bump it, you know, and it stays the same pressure as it gets lower and lower in the cartridge. The pressure stays the same until it's empty. That's the way CO2 works. Pretty interesting. I read a little bit about it, and that's a very useful tool, because I'm going to tell you, man, there are some jobs, like a toilet, that's the lowest point. Like, it's not like up north. We don't have basements, man. We don't have a fucking valve. You know, Steve Lav is always open all the valves in the house, and then he goes in the basement and opens something, and the whole fucking house drains. That don't happen in Florida. So dripping water is a real fucking problem when you have to unsolder something and then put a new valve on a hose bib. You're gonna have to solder it. So that little tool is a fucking game changer for me, because it's frustrating as hell. So it just works, but just ease into it, because it is a lot of pressure. I'd like to put a gauge on a hose bib someday and pop that, you know, and see where it goes, where, you know, the pressure gauge with the two needles, and see where that red one goes, see where it's, you know, see how high the pressure gets, because you don't want to go there to change your hose bib and then pop a fucking pinhole in it because the copper is just barely fucking hanging on, you know, which is the case a lot of times down here, man, in Florida. So I feel like in the last you know, a lot of you guys know that I was a new construction plumber. I have been doing service for a long time, and for the last 8 years, you know, not full time, like 40 hours a week, but I feel like I'm getting you know, I'm getting more and more experience. I'm seeing a lot of the jobs I go to, I'm like, oh, I had this last week, or I had this a year. You know, it's not the first time I've ever done it. And the learning curve is steep on a service plumbing. For one thing, is everything you do, they just constantly change it, man. Almost every time I open a package, it's been redesigned and it's different, and it's a real challenge, man, for us out here in the field. You know, you couldn't. I would never have imagined there's like 5,000 different ways to get water into a fucking toilet, you know, or a fucking faucet or whatever. It's just crazy, man. And it all has to do with, it's not a better design. They're making these changes so that they can make more money. Their goal is to get that price as cheap as possible to manufacture stuff. And unfortunately, a lot of the shit, we are the lab rats. You know what I mean? Some of the stuff that I open, I think there is absolutely no way in hell, unless these people just get off on making shit hard for us, there's no way in hell that before this product was thrown out into the general public, that the product went around a round table or a fucking table with all of these people and they actually tried to use it, you know? I mean, some of the shit, just getting it out of the fucking package is a motherfucker, man. I mean, it's frustrating. A lot of times you need a razor knife. You can cut yourself. you can damage the goddamn product you're trying to get out of there. It's like cracking a safe, man. So, I've learned a lot in the last couple of years, and I've learned a lot from being on YouTube, man. I mean, I watch a lot of guys. I need to watch more of, I need to venture out into different things. I've been watching Steve Lab, Mikey Pipes, and a handful of other guys. But they're doing the same thing I'm doing. I need to look at shit that's different, like electrical contractors, guys explaining electricity and the best, ways to do that. And it's just going to increase my knowledge. YouTube is a very, I think overall, it's a good thing, man. Yeah, there's a lot of fucking mudslingers out there, and the first thing they're looking for is something to criticize. That's the nature of the beast, and for me, you can tell the tone of a comment, and I'm just gonna tell you, man, as soon as you come at me with a nasty fucking, spitting venom at me, I just block you, man. I just eliminate you. I don't need to hear it. So today, guys, is my mom's birthday, man. She was born in 1923, man. And she was a tough woman. She had 11 kids. I was number 10 out of those 11 kids. And I'm going to go get the picture of my family. I've done this a few times for some of these newer people watching. I'll show you what the funky bunch, that's what I call them. But let me go get this picture, man, and show you the clan. So guys, this is my mom. This was a picture I took of her out in front of my house. Before, I think she was probably 93 or 94 when I took this picture. And she's just a wonderful person. She was tough. Our relationship was tough, for a long time. But I can tell you, it's the longest relationship I've ever had, with my mom. 50 years. I mean, I don't know how old she was when she passed away. Let me see. I was 54. 54-year relationship with somebody. It's a long time. And she taught me a lot, man. She taught me a lot. She was tough. She was very, very smart. She didn't she had her favorite saying was, well-behaved women rarely make history. And she believed that. She would speak up. She would challenge you. She'd fight. She was a fighter, man. She was tough, man. So that's my mom. Rest in peace, Mom. Happy birthday. She would have been... Wow, man. She would have been 102 years old, man. Wow. So this is the funky bunch. Check it out, y'all. Check it out, y'all. I'm gonna flip this around for you guys, man. This video. I know a lot. I'm doing it on my phone just because it's so easy to upload stuff. But yeah, this is my mom. And my brother Matt and my sister Ann. She was my donor, and I'm sitting on my dad's lap. That's all 11 of us. I think that was their 25-year anniversary. But my mom's still smiling, man, after 11 kids, man. I mean, she really, she was the matriarch of our family, man. I mean, look at this, the funky bunch. Unfortunately, this guy here, over here, this Gus, he passed away when he was 21, 1976. Man, it broke my heart. And then my brother Phil here. He was the second one out of the 11 to pass away. He was only 68 when he died. He had lung cancer, or he had issues with his lungs, man. And then my sister Daff, she was the oldest girl. She died. I don't remember when. She died on August 25th. The years I don't know. But it's been a few years now, 3-4 years. But yeah, that's the whole clan. Happy birthday, Ma. She was beautiful, man. She was beautiful. And I gotta say, we're a pretty handsome bunch, man. My dad was a good-looking guy. My mom was beautiful. And, yeah. That's the clan, man. That's the clan. Anyways, this stuff, I want to show you this. This cross was given to me when my brother died in 1976. I was given this cross by our family priest, Father John, in memory of my brother, because I really was taking it hard. Like, I was depressed, man. I needed... My mom actually called this priest to come talk to me, and he gave me this cross, and that was 49 years ago, man, and I haven't lost it. It means a lot to me, and I believe this cross here was my mom's. These rosary beads, and so they're hanging on there. But this cross took a beating. When I got diagnosed with cancer, I wore this cross every day for like 3 years, man, and it was getting beat up. I mean, look at old JC's hanging on by one nail, man. But fucking dog hair everywhere, man. But yeah, so I had to take it off, and I hung it here where it would be safe. It actually, I think of what I went through. 49 years is a long time, man, to keep something so small. And I still have the little paper that was taped to it that said, and it looked like Father John, he wrote it on this paper. It said, "To John, in memory of Gus," and the letters were so small. Those people who write on rice? That's what it looked like. But the damn tape stuck on it for so many years until I started wearing this. But yeah, this is the clan, man. Check us out. Gus, Jude, Tommy, Jennifer, Daphne, Sal, Phil, Liz, Ann, Matt, and last but not least, Johnny Sunshine. Check him out, man. He was like, "Let's get to work, Dad. Let's get to work." I was ready, man. Look at them eyes. I was like, let's get it. That's the Leo in me. Johnny's a Leo. Don't fuck with a Leo, man. That's all I'm telling you. We're crazy. My dad was a Leo. My grandfather was a Leo. My donor, my sister, was a Leo. My oldest brother is a Leo. And, that's telling me that, around Halloween, my dad was getting it in because, there's a lot of August babies is all I'm trying to say, man. I'm trying to keep warm up there in that cold ass weather. Anyway, so Ma, happy birthday. And I wear this cross every day. It's the first thing I do when I wake up, man, is put on my dog tag and this cross. I bought this because I didn't want to destroy the one that I have, the one that was given to me by Father John. And unfortunately, when I perish from this earth, that cross will probably get thrown in the trash, man. But that's the way it is, guys. That's how the cookie crumbles, as they say. Cheers. It's going to be a great day. My mind, I have a lot of stuff I want to do. Somebody made a suggestion. I was about that cartridge puller, and I believe it was on Vince's residential, his channel. He showcased that puller on his channel the other day. He made one and pulled a cartridge out of his house. And one of the people on his channel suggested that it would be really cool to do it in clear PVC so you can see what's going on. And I was like, wow, that's a great idea. I mean, I was thinking of putting a notch in the regular PVC so that you could see what was going on. You know, just a couple inches in from the end, put a little, like a peephole, you know. But the clear PVC is the ticket, man. And I was thinking, taking it one step further, clear PVC on that plunger of mine would be really fucking cool to see what's going on in there and see what's happening with the gaskets. It would just have to be that 2-inch. You could do the rest of the top of that plunger in regular PVC, Schedule 40 or foam core to keep it light. But that's a great idea, using clear Schedule 40 PVC for tools. And I have a lot of them, and I use a lot of the stuff that I make these tools with are simply plumbing fittings, you know. I make them right on my truck, and most of the time I have the shit right there that I need to create a tool, you know. I mean, it's pretty simple. When you get in a jam and you're like, man, I wish I had something that would do this. And you're like, well, fuck, why don't I just make it? And you make your own tools. So, I slept good last night, guys. Man, was I in pain. And I got a good night's sleep last night. It sounds like these guys aren't showing up. The three amigos, which is great because I don't really want to work today. Even just supervising, telling them what to do. So Johnny's going to kick back, Jackson. And I'll be thinking a lot because that's what I do. But it's all good, man. This was a very productive week for me. And even though it was tough, you always feel better, man. After getting through stuff and not quitting. The other day when I left that house with the stoppage from hell, that kitchen sink stoppage, I spent 4 or 5 hours at that house grinding on that fucking thing. Finally got it opened up, and the guy's like, wow, I've never seen this drain work so good. And which is, you know, that's I always like to hear that. But let me tell you, man, I was ready to go home, man, but I had to go put that Grundfos Comfort Series in, recirc system, and you know, I went and did it, man. And it takes a lot of intestinal fortitude to continue on when you're fucking exhausted. But I went there. It was it was kind of uplifting. And the guy gave me a tip, very generous, and the thing worked. So there were a lot of questions on that. Guys don't understand how that recirc system works. So I'm going to show you. Hang on for a minute. Let me get my shit. Alright, guys. So here's what you got. You got your hot water heater. This is, you put the pump on the hot side. Those pumps, the shaft on this pump cannot be vertical for it to work. You know, it's going to wear out faster. It can't be vertical. It needs to be horizontal. So always put that pump in a position where the shaft is horizontal. They used to have nice little pictures in there showing you that. But they don't anymore. They actually have, you have to read it to find that information, and most likely a lot of people don't install them properly and it ends up getting damaged. But so what you have is you've got this, here's your water heater, you got your hot discharge, you put your pump on there, and what this pump does is it elevates the pressure in the hot side about 3 psi above the street pressure on the cold side. So this pumps, it's pumping this water up here to this thermostatic control valve under the sink. Now these are the shutoffs that were piped to the lavatory, hot and cold. So you disconnect those supply tubes that go to the faucet, and you hook the supply tubes that come with the pump. You hook them from the shutoff valve to the inlet, and it tells you all of that right on this valve. It shows you the direction of flow and the hot and the cold. So you open this, you tie this from the shutoff valves into the thermostatic control valve on both sides. And then on the top of that, there are connections for you to hook up the original hoses that go to the lavatory faucet. You hook up the hot and the cold to the top of it. And what this thing is a thermostatic control valve, meaning if it senses cold water here on the hot side, it actually opens, and it allows that water to pass through here, and then it returns back to the water heater and forms a loop, and it'll loop that stuff around until this thermostatic control valve senses the hot water. When it senses the hot water, it closes and shuts that off so that you don't end up with 130 degree cold hot water on your cold side. And this is designed, you're not going to get exactly the temperature of the water in the tank. It senses warm water, you know what I mean? Somewhere between cold and hot, and it just cuts down on the amount of time it takes you to get that hot water there. And it's constantly, when the pump is on, this is doing that all day long. It's moving, and they tend to crust up after 5, 6, 7 years. So if the pump is working and you're not getting hot water anymore, or quicker hot water at the lavatory, typically you put this valve on the furthest fixture, where they're really complaining about. It's the furthest fixture is what you should put it on, and you'll see if it actually solves the issue and creates cuts down on the time. But there was also on this pump, there's a timer, a 24-hour timer that has 15-minute increments. So if you get up at 5 in the morning and you want hot water between 5 and 8 in the morning, you can turn this thing on so that it turns on at 5 and shuts back off at 8 o'clock. And then if you go to work and you come home at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the evening, and you want it to run for a few hours after work, you set the times. You figure out when you want to have hot water, so it doesn't have to run all day. So the house I worked on the other day, he said just leave it in the on position, and I was like, that's fine. But it's very easy. There's a little switch on the pump. One of them is on, and that's how I left that. Then there's an off, in the middle is off, and then to the right is the timer. And they just work great, man. Now the other issue is, say you put this, you only get one of these valves with the system. So if you say he's still experiencing, it takes a long time to get hot water to the kitchen, you can do that and create another loop from the kitchen. You can put more than one of these in a house. So you could have one in the master bath. Way over on the other side of the house is where he had an issue, and he was also having an issue with the kitchen. But if this kitchen came off somewhere in this loop, then it's going to solve that issue. But if it came off over here somewhere, then you got an issue. You know what I mean? You're going to have to put another thermostatic control valve. So that's how they work. A lot of people didn't understand it. There were a lot of questions about it. It's a Grundfos Comfort Series. I like that one. A lot of different companies make them. I think they're probably, most of them are made in the same plant. They just have different names because they look exactly the same. And yet the one I put in the other day, I used shock bites on that. It was CPVC. I used on one side a female brass by shock bite, and then the other one, it needed to be a brass male adapter to shock bite. And it just makes putting it in easy because you always have water dripping. Even gluing that joint would be a problem. Or soldering. And it's just, shock bites work, guys. There's so much hate about shock bites, and oh, you're just a fucking handyman because you use them. Well, I've been plumbing for 40 years. I'm a master plumber. I use them because they work, man. And they work because I put them in right. I install them properly, man. So get over it, guys. I watch people, you know, especially up north, man. They're always changing hose bibs and, oh, we need to change this valve out on this hose bib. Cut the fucking thing out and put a shock bite ball valve on there, man. It takes 2 seconds. Get your money. If you got a minimum charge of an hour like I do, minimum charge is 1 hour labor and a $50 trip charge. So I'm getting the fuck in there and getting out. I'm not going to work for a whole hour to get that money. I'm going to put it in. It's an approved fitting, and they simply work, guys. The other thing is I got some comments about the water heater I put in yesterday. And the guy's like, I can't, you're fucked, man, because, and I blocked him, because I used shock bites, and all I had to do was put a couple little pieces of CPVC in that. Well, I can tell you, man, I look at these old water heaters at the supply house where you dump them off, and the copper, every one of the water heaters with copper fittings on them, the pipes are damn near closed off because of electrolysis. You don't get that with brass, man. You know, if you want to solder, go ahead and get yourself some brass female adapters. But the copper, you end up with electrolysis in every water heater I see with copper female adapters on it. They're damn near closed. So, and you look at one of CPVC with brass adapters on it, it looks like it did the day you put it in, man. That's why I do it. It's easy. It doesn't have to be hard to do these water heaters. I'm trying to get in there, get it done for a reasonable price where I make money, and I'm not, you know, fighting shit, man. But you end up fighting anyways because that's just the nature of plumbing. But I'm going to end this video on that, guys, just because it's getting long. I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about today. But I'm glad I touched on that Grundfos Comfort Series. And the other thing is, if you're a plumber and you have issues with water dripping out of a system, this better not be that motherfucking guy. Hey, this is Bob. Phillips Plumbing, this is John speaking. Fucking robocalls. Yeah, the other thing is, if you know, get yourself one of those air conditioning drain tools, a CO2 cartridge. And I had no idea they had 800 psi in it. But just make sure you got if you're working outside of the house, open a couple other hose bibs and blow that thing out. Give that water somewhere to go. And then be ready to hit it real quick, because if something's leaking by, that water could come back. But I'll tell you what, those cartridges the other day and that tool, I wouldn't have been able to get through that job and unsweat those valves. And one guy said something about using jet sweat. I have them, man, but they don't fit through a fucking uh, an R19 rough brass sweat brass craft valve. You can't get them in there. So I did what I had to do. And that's it, guys. Get yourself one of them tools, man. It's cheap. They're like 40 bucks on Amazon. Comes with a few cartridges. Some of the cartridges are threaded. Some are not. Like my tool, it's not threaded. And then buy yourself a box of the CO2 cartridges, man. You can get a big box of them for $40, but you can also get a small box of them for $40. So be careful what you buy. Make sure you're looking through it, because there are other, if you go to an air conditioning store to buy those cartridges, they're going to be real high. If you go to a fucking place where they sell BB guns, like Walmart, you get a whole fucking box of 40 of them for relatively cheap. So that's going to do it today, guys. Have a great day. I'm sure I'll get into something and want to post it. But have a great one. And please hit the like button, man. It takes a second. And it's going to help, It's going to help with the algorithm. I have to look that up and see what the fuck it actually means. But yeah, anyways, see ya.